Hey everyone, it's Simon here from Higher Playing Games. I hope you're all having a great day and welcome to Age of Rivals, a card-based two-player game similar to a European board game, to be fair, but it's rather fab. Thank you for the developers for sending me over a copy to review. This is an in-depth game, so I recommend that the first thing you do after having to sign up with an email address and username, and it has to be linked to your Steam account, is to go play with the Learn to Play features, because actually the tutorial lays this game out really nicely. I'm going to butcher it by giving it my own tutorial. Now, whilst this game is heavily geared towards being an online playing game and you join an alliance to try and battle other people and have invites to play, as you can see, it's hardly hustling and bustling. But you don't necessarily need to play online to get the most out of this game. You can still play it with a friend locally or versus a computer, which is what we're going to do here. And I will lose. I'm under no mistake that I will lose. So each person that you can choose from, and this list grows over time because you unlock cards the more you play. And I'm going to start with Kubra. Each game is a two-player face-off and goes through those phases that you saw on the screen. There are 4 rounds, and we're on round 1 of 4, as you can see at the moment. And your playing field is divided into 2 sections. So the left-hand side, as you can see me clicking around, are these 4 different cards that I've got here. Up above me, you've got my little Lady Kubra, the amount of gold that I've got, which is 20, and that's to last me through this turn, and the amount of victory points that I have. The ultimate end of the game is to have as many victory points as possible by the end. And as you can see, Arsenia has exactly the same there. That's an unfortunate name, my love. Now, each card has several different things. In the middle, you've got the amount of gold that it's going to cost to buy. You then have its armour for how much damage it can take, its attack for how much damage it can give if it's a attacking card, and then each one usually has something that it does. So this one's going to give 4 attack to anything that is like a castle based card before war breaks out, which is where you basically fight your cards against each other. Now each one also has a commerce value as well, so you've got stone, wood, horses, training, iron, there's alchemy, there's all kinds of different ones. And so you have a little commerce thing going on behind the scenes, and we'll come back to that in a second. And this is my income that I will gain from my next turn, which is where the commerce bit comes in. So, initially, we've got 20 gold pieces to get us through this round to fill up our 8 card deck over here. So I'm going to start off with... I'm going to start off actually with stone. And what you can see there is that stone as a commodity gives me 1 extra income every round, which is why it's important to get these out of the way quite quickly. And I now take control over stone. What that means is that where we've swapped over, the commerce bit that runs behind the scenes in this basically means that every time they buy, say, something that has got a stone value, they have to give me tax of a gold coin, which will help replenish my stats. And each one that's blue, as you can see down there for Arsenia, she bought something. Oh no, she hasn't. Sorry, that's me being thick. I'm going to go for gems. Let's get our commerce right up. And there you go. So they bought wood. That gave me 1 tax. The gems now gives me an extra income and control over gems, whereas they've gone for wood. Every 2 rounds, a new fresh deck of cards for us is replenished before they swap over for us to choose between which one we want to go for. So I've explained the commerce side of stuff, which is really important to get going and off the ground. The next bit that I'm going to go for is the culture side of stuff, which is the other way how you gain victory points. So if I buy this theatre, it will give me 2 culture points, which at the end of each round count as victory points. But of course, because we're going to be fighting each other, we're going to have to find a balance between getting culture points and attack points and commerce points, and that is really the crux of this game as a whole. Now I'm going to shush. What have we got actually in this? Right, let's go nuts and go for training again, and just really like pile in on the money this round. I'm not very good at this game, as you can see, but look at all the discounts that I've managed to get, which means so I can duplicate the choice of the other person. Or I can gain lots of dosh. But that gambling hall is going to get absolutely slaughtered because it's only got 1 damage. I will duplicate the choice of whoever they're going for. Oh, they've gone for horses. How does that work? Guess no one gets a benefit on horses then. Right, so there we go. So we've got more discounts coming in. Now I'm going to look very specifically at what can we get culture-wise and what can we get help-wise, essentially. Oh, I could go for Northern Trade as well. That's quite... No, go for Royal Joust, because look at that 5 going on there. And then I've got a discount there. Now, 1 horse gains 4 culture, so that makes me want to go for that mounted guard. And look, that's going to help me out. And look, they're going for the same. There, and there we go. I've got my guaranteed card, which is associated with this lady, so she gets Eastern Trade. I've noticed though that I have very, very little in the way of aggressiveness, so I'm going to go for a Crusader here. Because that's going to come right up nicely in the attack phase that's coming up very shortly. So we've actually saved quite a bit of money, which is good. So now we move on to the conquer phase, which is where everyone that's got a damage basically faces off, and it's always whoever's got the highest value conquers a city and therefore gains a victory point, unless you've got more damage than before. Ooh, something's going on here. Oh, they're splitting the damage, that's why, because I've got so much to throw. So sorry, that city phase goes really quickly. Essentially, you have whoever's got the most attack wins the city, and then when you've got equal amounts, it's whoever's got the highest roll. So you can only ever do a 2-1 or a 1-2 really on that, unless someone's really screwed up the attack phase. Right. So now it comes to the point where we get to throw out the damage. So Arsenia only had 2 things that can give damage, that 5 and that 2, whereas we've got a 6, 3, 3, 2 and a 1. Now we've actually got a 6, a 3 and a 6, but what Arsenia has decided to do is to spread the attack damage out. The way how the attack damage works, let's see if I can demonstrate it here, is... I'm not really fussed about horses. Horses can go. Sorry, horses. So you have to push where you're going to put the 5 attack. If I go for the 3, that puts that down to 0, and that card will be knocked out of the game in theory. Now this 2, I will put into training. But as you can see here, their cards are going to get knocked out of the game. At the end of each phase, someone has to lose a card, so I will lose horses. Oh! The Poisoner! You bitch! That's harsh. Don't knock out my Royal Joust. No! That was going so well. We were leading, but that was going so much better than it That could have gone so much better. So essentially, at the end of that phase, cards that get knocked out, you have to choose to eliminate one from the game entirely. The rest come back, but with one less health for the next round. Of the 8 cards that you have, you can then carry 4 of those on forward again to the next round, and we have to now choose another 4. So you're very much looking at the short-term and the long-term aim as we move into round 2. So, this time round, we've still got all of that trade going on, which is great, but we've got Crusaders, Leviathans, Horses, Mounted Gun. Okay, right. So we have control on the horsey horse. We can kill something if we are going off against a horse with the pikeman. That could be quite useful. Or we can go with that and go for let's go for that. I appreciate that I'm losing culture with that, but they're even further behind with culture because they've got the poisoner, which minuses them 2 culture, which is why they're not winning points at the moment. Wah, wah. Although it's a bitch because it's clearly going to kill people. Heal all damage to 1 castle after round. We don't have a castle. Ooh, we could go for trade, you know. And we don't have a lookout spy, so I'm going to go with Western Trade. I thought they would. Okay. I'm hoping this makes some vague sense to people. It took me a few goes to really kind of get it. We don't have another skull, and there's not another skull on the board, so we're not going for Swift Assassin. But the problem is that they probably will. That's awkward. I feel like we have to go with Swift Assassin because otherwise they're going to knock out a really good card for us. So I'm going to play tactically and get the Swift Assassin in. Of course they would do that, but we've got heavy discounts here. So damage, I got 5, which isn't too bad. Again, I don't have a castle, but I had castles first time round, so let's go with that because it's going to give us loads. So we'll move to the Conquer round, where again we are going to kill it there. It's 2-1 for us, so that's great. And then we come to the war phase again. And again, look, they're splitting up their damage because I'm basically too powerful for them. So we need for that. We'll do that. Let's do that with the horses. So, yes, the Leviathan's taken a tanking. Oh, he couldn't knock us out. Yes! Good man. And then it comes to the score. So again, we've got some good culture, but this time they've got good culture. And they'll be hoping that the Pantheon gets moved on, as their catapult goes away. That's annoying. Their Grand Causeway can be easily taken out next time round if that continues on. Now, all of the cards that aren't being used in these rounds, go through to the final round. So you're not seeing. Oh. Well, that's just rude. Right, what have we got here? can get a thought of last resort next time round. Nice. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's not helping out with the thought of last resort, but there we go. Oh, they've got their guaranteed card out, which is a Scorpion. That's a bit harsh. Oh, but will they go for it? Because that Inconceivable Wonder looks amazing. And we can afford that. Oh, but we don't have anything that can actually attack. Screw it, let's go with Culture. Oh, they've gone. Okay. What have they got? I've got a 9, which we can get, which we can sustain with the war elephant, so that's okay. And apart from that, they've got a 1, and then maybe a 3 or a 4. Shit. Okay. Let's do the Sanctuary. Oh, okay, looking for a mine. Because clearly they're struggling financially each round, that's why. Because they can't afford stuff. There we go. That's the city's bit done. Off to war we go. Ooh, yeah, so they're looking at that. I think I've just got to kill the war elephant with that. Let's do that. With a bit of luck, we'll get the stones knocked out and not the war elephant. It's all at random what gets knocked out, essentially. But that was key to get all those culture points in. Yes! Ah, and it's restored anyway. Yay! Okay, War Elephant continues on. So the final round, these 16 cards are for us. And we basically have to choose from these what our 8 will be. Now we went a little bit mad on the trade. There is a reason for that, and that's because at the end of the game, every 2 gold points that we've got at the end of this round will count as a victory point. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go with War Elephant here. Thank you for the tax. Go for tax collectors because that's got 3 and a 3. Again, waste. They're struggling to be able to afford stuff, which will be interesting. Let's go for that. Spending quite a bit there, that's the problem. 2 and a 4, so we'll have that. Which will become a 6 if we get another one like that. Oh, it's going to run out of points! Yay! Oh yes, we'll do that. Thank you very much. An enemy after war. We need to get rid of that poisoner if we can. It will try desperately not to. do shield wall. That would be helpful. And it's got to be mounted guard, really, hasn't it? I can't believe I think I'm going to actually win. Okay, so let's do this, and we're going to win all 3 of this. Oh no, we're not. Unless we are, because we've got more things, so it doesn't matter if he's got a 5. That's the first time I've seen anyone win all 3 cities. Rocking it. Okay, assign your damage, peeps. Oh, look, it's split everywhere. So we've only got a 5, which I will stick on the war elephant. I'm glad that one stayed. Oh, that knocked out. Absolutely sausaged. Arsenia, what were you doing, girl? This is literally the first time where I've actually won and there's been a real big landslide. It's been quite close in all the other ones. So there we go. I won! Whoop, 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 whoop. I hope that was... Oh, choose reward. And the highest reward by playing versus anyone. 5 gold coins. Is that it? So, I can claim a reward because I've now finally beaten the thing there, and I did view the rule book. So we can claim that. And there we go. So you've got constant missions that go along on the meantime. Up over here you've got how much gold you've got, essentially. And golds buy cards. All of the cards that you've got in this game are available around here. And as you can see, I've not unlocked very many because I'm still relatively new to this game. Now, the way how you unlock stuff is by playing online or offline, depending on what missions are going on, and winning, obviously. And you have to buy a card pack with 100 coins each time. When you do that, you then open the card pack. You get 3 cards. So I've unlocked Trebuchet, I've unlocked Barons, and a Shinobi. And what that does is get added into the deck of whomever I am playing. You can also earn stuff by going through the single player campaign mode, which I've not touched, to earn other bits and bobs. As you can see, there's plenty of stuff to unlock and do. And from what I can tell, I'll just quickly dive back in. You can see all of the different stuff that we've earned along the way, and then each person kind of has a different card set that can potentially be unlocked, that is there, a mandatory one that will pop out only for them to choose from should you need to. You don't have to choose them, but they're there if you want. So it's a little bit gated in that kind of way. So the more you play and the more you win, the more cards and the more selection you have, and you can start editing your deck along the way. So I've not played this online, but I have enjoyed playing it against the computer itself. And yeah, I really like the in-depth mechanics. It seems like such a simple thing from the outset, but actually there's quite a lot going on, and there's a good element of luck and versus skill. But it always seems to be that if you play your cards right, about 7 or 8 times out of 10, it's the skill that will win out over luck. And that to me presents a decent challenge. So I hope that was informative. This is Age of Rivals, available on Steam now. You do need to register with the game when you do log on though, so just bear that in mind with the same email address that you used to create your Steam account. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please do stay tuned for a daily video here on Higher Playing Games, and if you like what you see, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe and say hello, because I like that and everything. It's nice. Alright, take care all. Bye for now.